start the prayer. Close your eyes, palms together. Sit comfortably. Pray to the rules of God and Goddess and all your rules for today's lesson. For better understanding. Also, feel the rhythm. Slowly open your eyes. Okay. We'll start again with the Saturn. We are going to see all the remaining Saturn Saturn aspects today. Okay, before that, let's stay the screen for at least 30 to 45 seconds. Whenever you stay the screen, at least try to read whichever you feel like you are not able to remember. I will tell you my experience after this. Few more seconds. Okay. When I started to repeat this exercise, what I understand was particularly the Vrikshika Rasi was hidden for me most of the time. Then I try to concentrate more on more, then I understand that point. Until otherwise, whatever I see this Kalapurusha chart, Mesha to Kanya is easy for me. And the Tula to Meena, kind of difficult. So what I did, whenever I stay the screen, I start with the Tula to Meena. Because I felt that that is the difficult thing for me. So whenever you stay the screen, you find which area is difficult for you and start with that area for the 30 seconds, then go with the easiest one. Then you can easily remember. It is my experience. It may work for you, it may not work for you. Then we move on into our class. We will try to finish all the remaining Saturn aspects today. Okay. Let's start with the Saturn in Virgo. So first, we have to understand Saturn, then the Virgo. Virgo, who's the owner of the Virgo? Who's the owner of the Kanya Rasi? Mercury. Mercury. So what we are going to understand, Saturn and the Buddha. These two combinations we are going to see. So before we understand the Saturn and the Mercury, we have to understand the 5-element principle. So let's start with from the Kalapurusha chart. That means the Rasi chart. Okay, the Kalapurusha chart. Sixth Rasi is the Kanya Rasi. So that is the earth element, dual in nature. And the female is an energy. Mercury is the owner of the house. The owner itself exalted in this Rasi. The debilitation is the Venus. So here what we have to remember, owner, the same owner is the exalted grahas. So owner and exalted thing both are same, that is Mercury. So debilitated is the Venus. So now here we have to understand the element earth. Now basically the earth, when we are comparing the earth element, what are you trying to compare against the earth element? The peoples who are grounded, who are very stable, they don't want to be flow whatever goes in their life. They want to be stable, they want to be steady at one point. The earthy nature is exactly implanted in them. And the dual in nature means they are much flexible. They don't be stubborn, even though they are grounded. They are much flexible. They are not in an adamant state. They don't want to be a stubborn person. They are very much flexible. And the female energy, here comes the most important. Here comes the interesting point, that is female energy combination becomes whatever the character which is implanted from the nature, whatever the qualities which is coming as an imprint from the nature, it becomes softened. Here, whenever we see the female energy, male energy, it is how much the energy which is impacted into the individual. Understand the strength of the energy. Male means it is a stronger energy. Female means not stronger, weaker energy. It doesn't meant with the gender. It is the male or a female. I'm not mentioning about the person. It is the energy level. You understand the strong energy and weak energy, right? It's weak. It's not a weak energy. It's a soft energy. Consider a person who telling you to do this work in a strong tone, and consider the person who telling you to say the same action with a soft tone. Both the things are in a vibrating level, both are different, right? Consider that situation in when I say female energy and the male energy. This is the kind of the background we have when we start. This is the kind of the background we have for the Saturn in the Kanya Rasi. Let's understand this one. Saturn and the Buddha combination here. So Buddha means Mercury. Mercury and the Saturn. Mercury is always the talkative person and he wants to talk all the time. Because the Buddha is the young prince. Mercury is the very young prince. And he was very intelligent. He, he was born as an intelligent. He understand, even though if there was a spike in front of him, he understand the true nature and the root of that cause also. That much intelligent Mercury is. Because of that intelligence, he was very much talkative. Okay, this is the Mercury. Now coming to the Saturn. Saturn is a very disciplined person and he is the mentor for hard working. And he was a very judgmental person. He knew what is right, what is wrong. Okay, now combine this both together. When the Saturn is disciplined and hardworking, and Mercury is the intelligent and talkative, when they combine together, what becomes? This person become calm and stable. Now you have the question. How come it's possible? Why? Because the Mercury is a talkative person. When combined with the Saturn, it is the hardworking person. The talkativeness become very less and he becomes very calm because of the Saturn in the Mercury. Okay, one more important point here. Consider we going to we take the drawing. Consider the Saturn was here in the Kanya Rasi. I'm going to some of it's really distracting me. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute. Huh? Okay. Consider the situation in the chart in the Kanya Rasi, Saturn was there. What will happen? Even though you were in the owner's house, there was a one rule you have to always remember. Wherever the graha which is placed, it have to do its work no matter what happens. Even though it is not, even though it was sitting in the friend's house, enemy's house, it is going to do its work no matter what. Okay, consider the situation. Now the Saturn was in the Mercury house. Imagine a situation, there was no graha in the Mercury. I mean, no graha in the Kanya. What will happen? That is the only time Mercury take over that action. Okay. Now we'll compare the both chart. In the Kanya Rasi, we have Saturn now. In the Kanya Rasi now, in the second chart, we don't have any graha. Okay. Now consider this is the Kanya Lagna. And imagine this is also Kanya Lagna. Okay. For this chart, the first chart, Kanya Lagna, Saturn was there. That means the Saturn is going to place the rule because the graha which is sit in the place is going to do its work, it's going to do its action. Now in the second chart, I see the Kanya Lagna, but there was no graha in it. Here comes the owner of the house take into action. Then you may ask the question. So in the first chart, then the Mercury won't place the rule. No, it will place the rule. but it is the second phase. The first significant part which is played by the Saturn. Then you have to underneath the Mercury is going to do the role. But in the second chart, the Mercury is going to do the primary role. But here, the Saturn is going to do the first primary role. This one part you understand clearly?
It's a bit confusion. You are telling Kanya Rashi different, Lagna different, no?
I'm giving an example. I will repeat the same thing again. See, we are seeing the Saturn in the Kanya. Okay, this is our objective is very simple. Saturn in Virgo. When the Saturn in Virgo means what is that? The Saturn is in here, Kanya Rasi. Virgo and Kanya are same, right?
Yes,
in the Kanya Rasi, Saturn Graha was there. This one point clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now imagine this is the Lagna also. For one, this is the A chart. This is the B chart. For the A chart, we have the Kanya Lagna. And the same B chart, we have the Kanya Lagna. Okay. In the A chart, we have the Saturn Graha in it. One Graha in it. And as B chart, there was no Graha in it. These two are example for our quicker understanding. Okay. So at this point, what I am trying to say here was the Graha which is placed in the Rasi, any Rasi, not only in the Kanya Rasi, any Rasi, the Graha which is placed in the Rasi will play the primary role first. This point understand?
Okay.
Now here if you see in the same Kanya Rasi, the second example, chart B example, Kanya Lagna, same Kanya Lagna, but there was no Graha. This is the point. The owner of the house comes into the primary role. So who is the owner of the house for
Mercury.
the Kanya? Mercury. So here the Mercury significance becomes the primary.
So it is always the case, irrespective whether Saturn or anything else, right?
Anything, yeah. It's all the time.
Okay.
They consider this
general rule. It is
general rule.
Yeah.
If the Graha was placed in it, that is going to play an action as the primary. If there was no Graha in it, then the owner plays the biggest role. Okay. Now comes into the significance and the quality of the Saturn in Kanya. We are going to understand. Now I'm going to remove this Lagna thing. Okay, now we are going to understand if the Saturn, when it is placed in the Kanya Rasi. Okay, now it is placed in the Kanya Rasi. At this point, you definitely will understand the Kanya Rasi can be the first house, second house, third house, fourth house till the 12th house. Okay. And one point you have to be understand. Bhava chart, you have to be keep in mind all the time. When Bhava chart, your birth chart, it's I don't want to confuse here. Okay, let's understand the Saturn in Kanya first. Okay, now when the Saturn in Kanya means we are combining the characteristic of Saturn as well as the Mercury. Now, we understand that Saturn is disciplined and hardworking, Mercury is intelligent and talkative. But when both combine it together, they become calm and stable. This is the interesting quality of the person when the Saturn which is placed in the Kanya. But here is the one interesting. Okay. Because of the calmness and the stableness inside of them, they are very much easy to understand the other person. They just sit and consider a person who's in the Kanya Rasi, the Saturn was placed in it. Okay. If they are sitting in the crowd, they can able to understand every person in the crowd, or at least the peoples around them. They can easily understand them. And and at the same time, they have a habit of build the castles in the air. Why? Because the intelligence vibe is really high for them. Because of the Saturn was placed in the Kanya Rasi, the intelligence and the hard work tend to make this person, okay, I can do this, I can do this, because they know what they want to do. because the Saturn gives them energy for the hard work. That's why the people will think they want to do that, they want to do this. But how come they're coming into the reality? It depends on the other planets, how it is placed in the particular individual chart. Okay. This one, if you want to check with the person who's in the Saturn in the Kanya Rasi, and that too, if it was in the any of the Bhava, first Bhava, second, third to 12th Bhava, then depends on, then based on that we have to understand if this the building castle in the head come to the reality or okay. Next comes the interesting. Crafty and creative. Definitely the Mercury, because of the intelligence, its creativeness is really high. But here is one tricky thing. The Saturn is not Saturn is hard work. For example, if two-person was sitting, the Saturn uh, more impacted Saturn person and less impacted Saturn person. If these two peoples are sitting together, the Saturn energy person wants to work hard, wants to do anything by the hard working. But the person which is having the less impact of the Saturn wants to do all the smart work. When I think of this one, the one story will come. In Southern India, people definitely will heard this story. Ganesh and the Kartikeya. when their father and mother, Shivan and Parvati, asked them to bring the uh, roam around the world and come back to them and get the fruit of the mango. Ganesh goes take the round with the parents 3 times and get the fruit. But Murugan was, that is Kartikeyan, take his peacock and roam around the world. He come back and asks the he said, I roam around the world, give me the gift. But he said, no, your brother has already finished the task and he take the mango also. But here is the thing. Here the smartest guy is the Ganesha and the hard worker is the Murugan. I mean the Kartikeya. That plays here. Here, when the Saturn and the Mercury energy combined together, this person becomes the crafty in nature. Because of that, the creativeness is also increased. This thing was little bit tricky, but when you see the person's chart and you will understand when the Saturn in the Kanya Rasi, these people will definitely creative in nature. And you may think the creativeness comes in any form. One person was telling, no, I have a Saturn in the Kanya, I don't have any creativity. But when you keenly see the person, they do the thing different. The creativeness will comes in a different way. Okay, let's move on into the next one, cautious and methodological. The cautious and methodological because of the combination of these two only. Why? This cautiousness is not the harmful cautiousness. Why? They know because of their intelligence, because of their hardworking energy, they know what they want to do. But here comes the one interesting point. They don't want to make a mistake. That's why they follow the methodological structure. They want to go one by one and do the task and finish the task in that case. Oh, very sorry. I had a very good cold. Let's move on into the last point. And these people, if they use their energy, if they use the wise in them in a fruitful way, all the investment strategy they will work, it will get real benefit for them. Whatever they plan in the investment or any kind of the strategic planning, they will definitely succeed. Okay, now comes into the last one line of the Saturn will. At times, health can be a matter of concern. Okay, why here? the Kanya, the Saturn in the Kanya means the Saturn energy want to work hard all the time. It doesn't mean the day or night. He or she wants to work all the time. So the health becomes the concern for them. But it's not going to happen in their young age, but it will be happening in the later point in their age. Most of the time, they will suffer with the health disease. If they are not cautious about their health in the beginning, they will end up in the different issues at the end, at the older age. Most of the time, the health will be the much concerned at the later stage in their life.
Is that because I have a question? Is that because it's Kalapurusha's sixth house?
Kalapurusha 6th house, exactly. Yeah. And the 6th house, as well as the Saturn, which plays the biggest role here. It gives you the energy. The energy is important here. The energy which comes from the universe, even in the young age, they want to do the work 24/7 if they want to achieve. Because of their hard work, because of their intelligence, they see every action was put. That gives their energy. That gives their boost to be move into their life. But they don't give the concern about their health at the young age. That gives a greater impact on the older age. I take an example and find out the person who having an Saturn in the Kanya Rasi and understand this point. The last point will be definite. This one point will definitely come. This one point. Okay, now.
I want to ask. You had told me now Saturn in a different Rashi, whatever Rashi, etc. Size alters say if it is retrograded, then also the same effect. If Saturn is placed in
Retrograde means, consider the one situation. Retrograde means the deeper impact, deeper karma will come. Retrograde means the effect will be much greater. Okay, the retrogradation means you are come closer. Consider the Saturn. I'm giving an example. See, this is you, which is in the earth, and the Saturn, the normal Saturn energy was here. Consider this is not retrograde Saturn. Then the distance between you and the Saturn will be much greater. Okay, but when it was retrograde, it comes closer to the place where you are living, closer to the universe where you are living. When you are retrograde, it goes reverse and stable and go back in its loop. Okay, but that time the energy level which you received is at greater height. In other words, whenever there was the retrograde planet, you are carrying the greater karma from your previous lifetime. You didn't believe the lifetime previous or not, that doesn't matter. But what the statement here was, when there was a retrograde planet was there, the deeper karma which you carry from the another life also.
No, my point is not that. My point, whatever the key, this all was, whatever you have put here, five characteristic, whatever calm and everything, it will be same thing apply for that also I'm asking you. This what you have mentioned, calm and stable, everything, whatever the 5 points you have put, same will apply for them all, that also.
Retrograde also much greater. See, much greater. For retrograde also, this will be much greater.
For example. Okay.
Even health also.
Even health also. At times,
even health also. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
This have to be the retrograde Saturn. Sorry. Even though when the Kanya Rasi, the Saturn was there, this is the general point you have to remember. Okay. But how come you have to validate the point? Some people, when they see this 6 points, when they say the Saturn in the Kanya Rasi, they will say, yes, I have this, I have this, I have this. But some of the people, when they have the Saturn in the Kanya Rasi, even it is the Saturn is retrograde or normal Saturn, when they say no, Anita, all the 6 points is nothing, it's not suit for me. Why? At the point, you have to understand what are the other grahas aspecting them. What is the relation between the Saturn and the Mercury? Where is this Saturn's bhava? I mean, what is the Kanya in which bhava it is? It is the first house, second house, or up to the 12th house, which house it is. So when you are understanding all this point, it will come. So mostly this is the general characteristics. The 6 points are the general when it was comes into Saturn in Kanya Rasi. That's it. Don't get much more deeper and confused yourself. The retrograde anyway will have the different class also. Consider it as this normal Saturn in the Kanya Rasi. The 6 point you have to remember this. But this may true or not. But okay, the one question you beautifully asked, is this the same for all the person? The last point, the health can be a matter of concern. 90% of the thing, definitely this is true because the chart, I'm not saying number of chart, whatever the chart which I understand, which I read, this point was true most of the time. This chart, this 1 point at times our health can be concerned and may be false if the other grahas in a very good place. Or the Saturn was in the 6th house in the birth chart itself. Or the Kanya Rasi becomes the 12th house in the birth chart itself. There are the different scenarios will come. But one thing you have to remember, when the Saturn is in the Kanya, remember the 6 point. It may suit, it may not suit. But how you have to combine, how you have to filter this out, it depends on where it was in your birth chart. That means it is in the 1st house to the 12th house. Find out that one. Then understand the aspect. Is there any planet was aspecting this Kanya Rasi? Or what are the Saturn aspects? Find out that one. Is that in the hidden houses or not? Hidden houses means 6, 8, 12 or not. What is the Pathak star? Is it Yoga Karaka? Find out all the stuff. Then you can, you remember this point, right? When the Saturn in the Kanya Rasi, okay, this 6 point will comes into your mind. Then once you understand the chart, put together and filter out which one you can say or this is just a guidelines. But when you see more charts again and again, you will understand that point. Okay, then you may if I can't remember all the 6. Then what you can do? Most of the time, what I will do, I will tell you. I can't remember all the point, right? The one thing I can do is I know how Saturn will works. Okay, we understand how the Saturn will be. What is the Saturn is meant for? And I know who's the owner of the Kanya Rasi. Who's the owner? Mercury. So when the Mercury, okay, before all that, Saturn and the Mercury friends are ending. Tell me that. Saturn and Mercury.
Friends.
Friends, right? So the Saturn was in a good house. So when it was in a friend, Saturn and the Mercury or the Saturn sitting in the friend's house. Combine these together, Saturn's energy and the Mercury energy. You know what the Saturn will do, you know what the Mercury will do. And find out which house in your birth chart. Consider the Kanya Rasi. Now the Kanya in the Saturn is in the Lagna. Then it representing you. Consider this situation. It was in the second house. This is your Lagna, Simha Lagna. And in the Kanya, you have a Saturn. So this is your second house. The second house is the Dhanasthan. Then how it will going to be? Saturn is sitting in your money's house. This is an interesting point. Wherever the Saturn was sitting, it will give you the much gold in your life. Aspect is the problem, but wherever the Saturn is sitting, it will give you the greater benefit. To find out that in every bhava, how this Saturn in Kanya it's going to work. And this point, remember, whenever you find that. Another way to look into this is whenever you're comparing the chart, then you know there was a Saturn in the work. Then go and remember this point. Or else find a reference for this PPT as a reference and understand this is work on it. It is the greater effort where you have to put because when you find the birth chart for the person and you can't even able to find the PPT. And when you have the birth chart, you can't remember anything. All this will happen. Okay. Definitely, you need some kind of a effort to understand this. But when you practice, it doesn't matter of time. I'm telling you. It okay. My experience was like this. When you are seeing the chart, you didn't know about this all the 6 point on your memory. But when you connect with the Graha, when you connect with the Saturn, when you connect with the Mercury, it will tell you everything because the cosmic energy will give you all kind of the knowledge to do. It won't differentiate between one person to another person. The cosmic knowledge is the universe, and you will understand, and it will give you the greater knowledge. So, if this is the few ways to remember and read the chart. Find out which one is easy for you. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move on into Saturn in the Libra. Okay, this is the best one. This is the best place for Saturn. Why? Let's see about the from the Kalapurusha chart. Some people will say it is a Rasi chart. So whether it is the Kalapurusha chart or Rasi chart, remember 1 to 12 position. So now the 7th Rashi is the Tula Rasi, Libra. So it is the air element. Okay, now the Tula is the Sara Rasi, Trira Rasi, or Ubhaya Rasi. Tell me that. Yeah, air element, right? So which one it will come? It was a Sara Rasi, right? Yes or no? No?
Yeah, yes. Sarah.
It's a movable in nature. Why it's movable in nature? The air is the element. Air nature is to moves through one place to the another place. And the energy is the male energy. Here is an interesting thing. I said earlier, imagine the energy level only, not as a person as the male or the female. Energy as the male energy. Then male energy means it is a stronger in the strength. Okay. So who's the owner of the Libra?
Venus.
Shukra, friend.
Shukra. And who's the one more house of the Shukra is?
Vrishaba.
Okay, now here the good house for the Saturn is Saturn's exalted in the Tula Rasi. And the sun is depleted in the Tula Rasi. Okay, now the question comes. Venus and the Saturn, enemy or friend?
Friends.
Friend, okay. So, when the Venus was sitting in the Tula Rasi, it is the exalted in position and it's also sitting in the front house. Now combined with this one, Venus. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Okay, now see the Venus and the Saturn. Okay. Venus becomes the. Okay, what is the significance of the Venus? We'll combine both. Whenever we see the combination of the two grahas significance, you have to understand both the grahas significance. What the Venus will.
Venus is desires and prosperity, luxury.
Creativity, love, harmony.
That's creativity, love, harmony. Now the Saturn's energy is the hardworking discipline, and he was very strict officer. Now combine these two. Okay. Now the same rule will applies here when the Saturn in the Libra. When the Saturn was in the Libra, that is in the 7th house, the Saturn significance will becomes the prominent the secondary significance becomes the Venus. So most of the time, the Saturn rules plays the biggest role. Suppose in case in this, as we saw in the earlier example, now in the in the Tula Rasi, there was no Graha in it. Means then the Venus take over the role because he or she is the owner. Okay. Now we'll combine this one. Venus will meant for the luxury, and he want to live the life as joyful as it is. When the Venus was in a good position in anyone's chart, they want to enjoy the life as much as it is. They know how to live also. They know how to enjoy the life also. So that kind of the house, the Saturn was placed, Saturn was sitting, and it is also exalted. So that means the Saturn is going to give you the full potential. Because of that, they will get the greater respect in the society. And the leader of a group of community, state, or the head of an organization. Most of the time, this will happen when the Saturn is in the Tula Rasi. Most of the time, they will at least lead a few people. It may be the small amount of the group. It may be the state or the head of an organization. It doesn't matter. But most of the time, if the Tula Rasi Saturn was in Saturn is placed, they definitely become a leader. Okay, here comes the interesting point. And this is contradicting with whatever we learned earlier. Strike a balance in life. How come this is possible? Because air is in the flow in nature, and this person not able to, the air element not able to stay in one position, right? It wants, its nature is it wants to flow from one level to the another level. But still, these people can able to strike a balance in life. How is it possible? If it was an earth element, this statement will become natural, right? Because their steadiness, definitely it makes them balance in nature. But the strike a balance in life comes because of the Saturn.
Hard work.
Yes. The Saturn tendency is hard work, and it wants to do what it was started. Considered he or she started a work, they have to be finished no matter what happens. They know how to balance the life. That is the energy of the Saturn. Okay. And justice, loving, and fair deals. And this is also because of the Saturn's energy. They naturally they want to identify which is bad, which is wrong. Because you imagine what is the Libra means? It is a weighing scale. It understands which is the good, which is bad. When the Saturn was placed in the Libra energy, Libra Rasi, Tula Rasi, and these people can understand what is right and what is wrong, because they know how to weigh what is right, what is wrong. It's not only between the person. They know how to understand the situation in the environment, in the wherever the place, whatever it is surrounding them, whatever it is, they know how to distinguish the good and the bad. That's why the loving and the fair deals, the justice will come into place. Okay. Here is the interesting one. See, the intellectual and diplomatic mood. The Venus when we see understand about the significance of the Venus, we know desire, prosperity, love, romance, and luxury, and he know how to joyful this, that. But don't forget one thing. The Venus is a very, very intelligent person. What is the Venus energy? It's a Chukracharya. Acharya. In the Kalapurusha chart, it becomes the art and culture minister in the Kalapurusha chart. But Venus is one of the Acharya. In the entire chart, Guru, there are the two Gurus in it. One is the Guru Jupiter, then another is the Shukracharya, that is the Venus. He is naturally intelligent. I definitely told you the story about the Shukracharya. He's the son of the greatest saint. When he learned from his Guru, if I'm not wrong, from his father itself. He went to learn from his Jupiter's father, Brihaspati, but he show the partiality to his own son, Brihaspati. That's why he left that Guru and come back to his father to learn the knowledge. In very early age itself, he learned everything. He's a very, very intelligent person. But he preferred to lead the another tribe, which is not Devadas. Who are not Devatas. He went to lead the peoples who are demons in nature. They're the Kasuras. Now we call them as the demons and this, that. But that tribe is called Asuras. Brihaspati went to lead the peoples of the Devatas. Remember why I'm telling this? The Sukracharya is very much intelligent, very much creative. Okay? That's why he plays a role in the Kalapurusha chart as the art and culture minister. Remember this point. The owner who is Venus, very intelligent and creative in nature, the Saturn is sitting in that house. He's a very hard worker because he's also exalted and he's going to give the full potential energy to you. That's why he becomes intellectual as well as the diplomatic. Most of the time, when the intellectual was increased, these people becomes arrogant because they know much more than anybody in front of them. That's why they think, okay, I know everything in the world. The person who were in front of me doesn't know, and he didn't know what I am saying also. And these people will think when the intellectual level was increased, they think like whatever I learned, they will take number of years, number of life to learn as much as me. So that kind of an arrogant will come. But when the Saturn was placed in the Tula Rasi, the intellectual and diplomatic mind goes hand in hand. Okay? Okay. And they are good in networking because of the diplomatic nature. Okay, here is an interesting point. If the Saturn was placed in any other Rasi, they will do the hard work. But when the Saturn was placed in the Tula Rasi, they know how to extract the work from others. I saw the peoples, they appoint the servant, but they will do the work. What is the thing here? They don't know how to extract the work from others. But when the person was having the Saturn in the Tula Rasi, they are expert in extract the work from others. Okay, now you combined these two. Because of this nature of extracting the work from others, this one quality allow them to become a leader. Okay, anyone who's having a Saturn in Libra?
Sir, ma'am, I have it.
Yeah, what is that? You having this, any of the things? Okay, in first question, any of the point which is matches you?
Most of them except the networking part.
This part, okay. Where the Saturn was placed in your, which bhava it is? First house, second house, third house?
12th house, 12th house.
Okay. Which Lagna?
Lagna is Scorpio.
Vrikshika Rasi. And the Saturn was in the 12th house. But you are not able to do the networking.
Yeah, in fact, I never wanted to learn it. I always said I don't need it at this age. But now I repent because now I'm learning, trying to learn.
Okay, what is your third house?
My third house is Capricorn.
Okay. Any graha in your Lagna?
No.
Okay, where is your Mars?
Mars is in the 4th house. Mars with Venus.
Okay.
And the last point, also good at extracting work. I prefer to do everything myself, even if I have servants, I do it.
Yeah, that's why I told. These points are just general points, general guidance for you. But when you see your chart, right, that thing will be different way. Okay, from your chart, I didn't put your entire chart, but based on it, what I can see, your Rasi is your Lagna starts with the Vrikshika Lagna. Okay,
Yes.
Vrikshika Lagna comes from these peoples will hold all the thing themselves. That's why the networking is not the best suit for them.
Mm-hmm.
They want to put too much of energy because the Lagna is you, right?
Yeah.
They hold themselves. They believe that I can handle the situation. I know how to do the work.
Right.
But when they burst out and they throw the anger, right? That is the point. Their patient level was reached. They burst out their anger. That means they can't hold anymore. That kind of the person. Is that you?
Again, I couldn't get it, Vanita.
For example, when somebody was ill treating you or you getting anger, you show the patience to them. And you
Yeah.
feel like, okay, I'm okay with that. I can tolerate, I can tolerate, I can tolerate. There was a one point you will reach. You will burst out and say, okay, I'm done. And this is my decision. And full stop. And you can't come back from that.
Yes, right.
This will happen because the Vrikshika, when the Lagna was in your Vrikshika Rasi, it will tell you all this thing.
Yeah.
When the Saturn becomes the 12th house, then this thing may come, this point may come true for you, may not. This is a general guidance. That's why I told you, when the Saturn in the Tula Rasi, remember this point in your mind. But when you are seeing in your chart, understand which Bhava, now for her it was in the 12th house. Then you have to see what are the
Isn't it?
aspects.
I have a question. I have a question. Isn't it also character of Vrishika? It's like secretive.
Yeah, correct, secretive. There, there are the three
So
rasis in the Kalapurusha chart. They becomes much more secretive. And one of them is the Vrikshika. We'll see the other two later on. They may not be the secretive, but what is the point here is they understand the other people very easily. Comparatively with the other rasis, these people can understand this opposite person very easily. But that's why they understand the secrets also. But when they reach their one level, they through that they don't be explicitly reveal all the secrets, but they burst out in definitely in anger once they reach the patient level. But at
Vanita,
that
not really burst out. I can judge that the person is lying or is
yeah,
not truthful.
no, the burst out means when you are in a situation like consider one person and you, and this person keep on troubling you again and again, again and again, again and again. And you know, okay, this person is like that. I can tolerate this much. I can tolerate. And you suffered a lot. And in this process, you suffered some where you can handle yourself. Then one point will come, then you feel that okay, I can't handle it anymore. Then you decide. But once that point was reached, and you break that kind of the tolerance level, and you leave this patient's level, and you said, "Yeah, I'm done, and this is the thing. I'm going to make a full stop." And once you said, you won't come back.
And I do it.
Yeah, that's it. And
This is right. 100% right. Yeah.
you won't come back, and there was no come back and say and pacify yourself. No, once you make the decision, I'm done.
Yes, right, right. This is right.
This is because of the Vrikshika Rasi, because it is you. Okay, okay. Now see into the last point. There is one weakness. Can indulge in various habits. Okay, why this becomes the bad? Why this becomes the weakness? Various habits means they may in habitually, if you are in a good environment and you are in a grown up in a very good state, you won't be affected by this. Definitely, you won't be get affected by this. But if you are in a situation, you have, because these peoples are good network, very much in network with other peoples. They know the peoples in opposite in front of them, how they will react also. But because of the good networking, they indulge in various habits. Various habits means I ask you to open your imagination as much as you, that much various habits will come into them. They have a greater impact in their life. That is the only one weakness. Otherwise, if they are grown up in a good environment and grown up in a very good people surrounded with them, this point may not come through. Okay. Move on into the next one. Until here, you are okay, right? I believe so.
Yes.
We'll move in. Thank you. We'll move into the next one. Now we'll in the Kalapurusha chart, the 8th Rasi is the Vrikshika Rasi. Okay? And who's the owner of the Vrikshika Rasi?
Mars.
Mars is the owner of the Vrikshika Rasi. Which is the other house for the Mars?
Aries.
Aries. From the Kalapurusha chart, 1 and 8th house owner is the Mars, correct?
Yes.
So, Mars. What are the significance of the Mars? What the Mars will do?
Warrior. Warrior.
What?
Brave.
Then brave. Then
Action oriented, very courageous.
very courageous, action
Commander in
oriented.
chief.
What is it?
Commander in chief.
Commander in chief. Then you are giving the good quality. One bad quality.
Acha.
Temper,
What is it?
temper,
Not the
anger.
temperament is very bad.
Yeah, temperament. Okay. Now we'll come into the Saturn. We understand the Saturn. Saturn is okay. One point about the Saturn is very slow in nature. Why the slowness will come? Because the distance between the planet which we live in and the Saturn is in a very long distance. So the movement is also becomes slow. We also are getting the energy which is slow in nature. That's why even though you are hardworking, disciplined, the Saturn's energy is in people's will say in other words, the Saturn is the lazy. It's not lazy, it's a slow in nature. The Saturn is the hardworking discipline and very, very judgmental. And he knows what is good, what is bad. And all the time, he wants to maintain the integrity in everything. Okay. Now the Mars is in another side. If he gets anger, that's it. He didn't consider who's in front of them. He just show his anger as it is. Okay. But he's very brave. Mars is very brave. Imagine Mars is the Kartikeya. He's very intelligent, but he shows an anger blindly. His temper is really, really very bad. He can get the anger in a very short amount of time. But at the same time, he moves very fast. He won't be stay in the same position. But this one point is not same for the Vrikshika Rasi. I will tell you the reason. For the Mesha, the people who get the anger will move easy. But in the Mesha Rasi, in the Vrikshika Rasi, if anyone gets anger, they hold the anger. They hold the anger very long time. They hold the grudge for very long time. But in the Mesha, they won't hold the grudge. They won't be in the anger for very long time. That's a difference between the Mesha and the Vrikshika. In the Mesha, it's the anger level is a flow. I mean, they get angry easily, but they will move from that state to the next state very easily. But in the Vrikshika, if the people get anger, they stay in their position. They themselves only willingly come out of that state. Otherwise, no one can ask them to come out of them easily. So for that, the Saturn, we understand the significance, we understand the Mars significance. We are going to combine this together. Now, before that, we'll understand the principle of the fire. From the Kalapurusha, it is the 8th Rasi. 8th Rasi, Vrikshika Rasi. Owner is the Mars. The Mars is the 8th. He is not only the owner of the 8th house, he is also owner of the 1st house. So that means Kalapurusha's 1st house, 8th house owner is the Mars. What is the significance of the 8th house, 8th Bhava? Anyone?
Longevity, troubles.
Longevity, then what do you say?
Troubles.
What is that? Another one?
Problems.
Problems. Okay. Remember this. This is we are going to These are all the points you have to be placed in parallel to each other. But when you are combining them together, you are combining into one line later on.
It's also transformation, if I'm not wrong.
Which is
Transformation, 8th house.
the eighth house comes with the various significance. Yeah. Now we'll see about the 5 elements first. We'll come into the 8th house later on. Don't worry, we'll see the 5 elements. Water is there. Okay, now we will understand why I'm telling this quality of the Vrikshika is different from the quality of the Mesha. What is the element of the Mesha?
Fire.
Fire.
Okay.
Okay. Fire is the element, right? Yes or
Yeah.
no?
Yes, yes.
So Mesha is the fire, Vrikshika is the water. But there is also there is three water element rashis, right? What are they?
Meena,
Cancer.
Kataka.
Meena, Kadaka,
Kataka and Scorpio.
and the Vrikshika. Okay, here comes the thing. Meena water element is the ocean. It is the very big ocean. And the Kadaka Rasi is the flowful water, like rivers, lakes. Like Vrikshika Rasi is the stagnant water. It won't move easily. It stay there for very long time. Okay. So that is why this water energy, this water element was different. It cooled the place. How the stagnant water was staying in the same place for very, very long time. That much their anger level will be there in the individual for very, very long time. They hold the grudge, they hold the anger, they hold whatever, whatever they, whatever emotion which is not good for them, they hold it. Okay? Why? Then we'll ask the question. When the water is the flowful element, okay, you said it was a stagnant. Okay, I'm somewhat convinced. But how come they hold that? Because of the fixed nature. It comes in the Sthira Rasi, Sara Rasi, Sthira Rasi, Ubhaya Rasi. Among this Rasi becomes the Sthira Rasi. It is the fixed in nature. Even though it is water, the water has the movable quality, but here it is a stagnant. It is in the fixed in one position. And along with that, the female energy. Okay, now I again ask you the question: what is the Mesha's energy, male or female?
Male.
Male energy. There is a fierce feeling. Even though the anger was a small amount of time, their anger is very, very fierce. Can't even stand in front of them. But here in the Vrikshika Rasi people, you can stand in front of them. But once they burst out, you can't even stand in front of them. Like it said, the water which is stagnant in their place for very long time, but when it was burst out, it breaks its boundary. It floods like water, like anything, right? Same thing goes for the Vrikshika Rasi. That too, the female energy was involved. Means the energy is soft, but once it's reached the level, sorry. Then once it's reached the level, it becomes the okay. If the female energy goes like this, if it was a soft energy, it was the Parvati. If it was in a very higher state, it becomes the Bhadrakali. I guess everyone understand what is Parvati, what is Bhadrakali. Parvati is the yogini, and very soft energy. When it comes into the Bhadrakali, he's also yogini, but he was yogini in a fearful state. That means the anger is really, really high. Okay, my device is, I will finish in a few minutes. Here in the Mars is the owner, there was no exaltation, but mood is depleted. Okay, here is the mood is depleted. Now I'll see. Here the serious and reserved in nature. When the Saturn was in the Vrikshika Rasi, these peoples are serious and reserved in nature. Why? Because the Mars energy, Saturn energy was placed in the Mars energy. Now, here is the question. Mars and the Saturn, friends or enemy? Whatever you say, I believe.
Saturn's enemy is Mars. Yeah.
Yes, right. Now, like imagine a Saturn was sitting or living in the enemy's house. He will be happy or sad. Definitely, he become very serious. And that too, the energy level is not the peaceful energy. It is the very anger energy. The Mars energy will be there. And the house is also not friend's house, say enemy's house, not one's house. So enemy's house. So these people are reserved and definitely serious in nature. Whatever they do it very seriously and they don't want to interact with anybody. Because of this nature, they're prone to aggression. Okay. But these qualities lead them to the strong-willed person. Most of the time, the people achieved more in their life. They have the Saturn in the Vrikshika Rasi. Why? This strong-willed person can achieve whatever they want, even though they are very reserved in nature. They don't want to interact with any people. But the strong-willed person can do whatever they want. If they wish, if they want to do in their work, they do perfectly. The tendency and the affinity towards research or archaeology. These peoples are really suitable for that. And that too, if their peoples were all I understand from one thing was the Saturn in Vrikshika, if they are into the investigation, they are do very well in their job. Because of the research, because of the researchable mind, the reservedness in them led them to search inwardly and they do the investigation very properly. Can't even imagine how these peoples are working, how this mind structure was. These peoples are very good in research. And if you see the peoples who are working in the archaeology, if you find any people who's working in an archaeology, ask them to see their chart. They at least in among the 10 peoples, if you just 7 peoples are definitely they will have the Saturn and the Vrikshika, or at least aspecting the Vrikshika. Okay. Because of that, they're getting into the depth. Depth means they see the depth of anything in front of them. Okay. Their strong willness lead them to the adventurous and risk taking. Anyone who is having the Saturn in Vrikshika,
I have, ma'am. Manjari here.
is there any point which okay? In any point matches with you?
Uh, yeah, I am serious and reserved to an extent. Strong will I have, but only towards certain things I have willpower. I mean,
This
it's a very
is
selective willpower. I am
I
prone to aggression,
what is it?
but not always. I am prone to aggression, but I try to keep calm. Yes, I have the attitude of getting in depth only of
Mm,
things that I am keen or seeking an answer to,
mm,
not in generally.
mm,
I am adventurous and risk taking. I love trekking and
mm.
risk. I still weigh my risks. I will not just outrightly take risk, but yes, I do. I do take very selectively, but I do take.
Okay, let's see your chart. Where this which bhava it
So
is
I
in the
have Saturn and Mercury both, and they are in the ninth bhava.
okay, which is your lagna?
Meena.
Meena lagna. Where is your Jupiter? Any
11th
graha in
house.
your Jupiter?
Makara Rashi.
Any graha in Jupiter? Sorry,
No,
lagna.
no. No, Mars is not aspect.
You have the Jupiter and the Saturn, ninth house. See, you are not serious.
ಹೇಳಿ
Saturn, Saturn along with the Mercury. Oh, this is the good
ಹಾ
comment. So here you have to see
ಹೌದು
Saturn, Mercury, and
ಅಲ್ಲ
Mars.
ಅದ್ಯಾರು ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ
Oh,
Can you put everybody on mute, please?
yeah. Here you have to see Saturn, Mercury, and the Mars. So, but even then, the Mars you have to consider, but here you no need to consider because here is Saturn, Mercury you have to consider. Any graha in the Mercury's house? Manjari?
Yes, ma'am. I have Mars in Virgo.
Mars and Virgo. Oh. Wow. Okay. Anything in the Miduna?
No, ma'am.
Oh, this is because of that your the equally strong-willed becomes half. Getting into, but you said you are not serious and reserved. The combination of the Mercury won't make you reserved one. Definitely won't make you. Then what you said? Yeah.
Ma'am, aggression also is very selective because my Mars is in the 7th. Most of my aggression is at home.
Okay.
It's
What is
not
your
at all.
second house? What is your
Sorry.
second house? Graha
Second
was
house
there.
has Rahu, ma'am. It is in Mesha Rashi. It has Rahu.
Oh. Okay. Are you expecting um exaggerated way of your home, the home which is in now, but you are thinking in a different way. These people have to behave me to this extent, or your expectation is high in your family level.
Yes, yes, yes. It
Uh,
was. But after learning astrology, I have come to, it's like a checkmate for me.
that's awesome. Okay, looks good. Anybody was having anything? The
You
Saturn.
said, you said you had if Saturn's drishti on Vrishchika, if you have that, you would have some of the qualities. Is that true? You said about archaeologists and something like that.
This one, yeah.
Saturn should be there, or at least Saturn's drishti would be there on that house.
So
That's
if the Saturn was in the Scorpio, definitely this will. Okay, but at the same time, the drishti, if the kind of the percentage level, if the aspect was in the Vrikshika, then the percentage level will be less. But
Yeah.
these people, when the Saturn was in the Vrikshika, definitely they will want to one or more into the research area. So
Yeah.
it won't be the entire lifetime, but at least the part of their lives, prominently the part of their lives. For example, if one person was living 50 years, but the prominent years was 5 years or 10 years, among this 10 years, definitely they will be into research, at least for an year. At least,
Because
but
I have this quality because I don't know if it is because of Saturn's drishti. My Saturn is in Kumbha. 10th house drishti is on Vrishchika.
The aspect will do the same thing, but the percentage level may be less.
Okay.
And also, okay, there was one more point. Even though the aspect was there, when the Graha was, there was one more situation. Welcome. Anita, I have the Saturn in the Vrikshika, but I didn't have any of the quality. I didn't have the research quality. But this is also applied when you have the Dasha Buddhi also. When the Dasha and Buddhi was happening, consider the Shani Dasha was happening, or Shani Buddhi was happening, definitely. Every time the Buddhi Nathan have the prominent role than the Dasha Nathan. When consider there was the Mars Dasha and the Sunny Buddhi. This quality come prominently in your life. Then why I'm saying this? Earlier I told you, right? Among your 50 years of lifetime, 10 years is the prominent time. And this consider this 10 years is that Dasha and Buddhi was happening. Definitely this will happen. You definitely come into at least one research area or at least 1 year that Buddhi period or Dasha period, we enter into the research or investigation. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll see the other three next week. Okay. Any doubt till now?
No, ma'am.
Great. Okay, we'll see you all next week then. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.